Welcome to Life in 5, pro-life news that matters. I'm Hayley. A developing story raises serious concerns about religious freedom, government overreach, and the treatment of pro-life Americans under the Biden administration. A new report issued under Donald Trump alleges that officials within the US Department of Justice during the Biden presidency collaborated closely with pro-abortion organizations to investigate and prosecute Christian pro-life advocates. According to the 200-page report, Biden-era officials are accused of aggressively using their authority in ways that targeted individuals motivated by their faith. The report claims that pro-life activists, many guided by deeply held Christian convictions, were monitored, investigated, and in some cases prosecuted and sentenced, not merely for unlawful actions, but for expressing their beliefs in public spaces. Perhaps most troubling are allegations that advocacy groups, including Planned Parenthood and the National Abortion Federation, shared detailed personal information with federal authorities. These so-called dossiers reportedly included home addresses, driver's license numbers, and even photographs of activist families and children. Critics argue this represents a dangerous erosion of natural and legal protections, particularly the US First Amendment rights to free speech and religious expression. Christian leaders and pro-life advocates have called the actions unconscionable, warning that such measures create a chilling effect on people of faith who seek to live out their beliefs in the public square. The report further alleges that then Attorney General Merrick Garland oversaw a task force that maintained close, ongoing communications with abortion advocacy groups. This raises questions about impartiality within the justice system. Supporters of the findings say that this moment calls for reflection and reform. As Australians, we must be reminded that what happens in the US often gets repeated here. A just society must protect the unborn and fundamental freedoms of those who advocate for them peacefully. As the story continues to unfold, we are left asking, can faith-based convictions still be freely expressed without fear of government reprisal? For now, the conversation around life, liberty, and justice remains as vital as ever. Go Gentle Australia, a pro-euthanasia group, has made a report about the availability of euthanasia in residential aged care facilities. They reported that only 10% of facilities provided what they called unrestricted access. Articles have been published in both the Melbourne Age and the West Australian, lamenting that more aged care facilities are committed to assisting the elderly in their most vulnerable moment, instead of using resources to put them out of their misery. Both articles are a reminder of the relentless push by pro-euthanasia advocates for death at every turn. Euthanasia was sold to the Australian public under a false bill of goods. We were promised it would be entirely voluntary and only used by those in the most desperate of circumstances. Now that the euthanasia lobby has secured its victory, we can see more clearly the agenda. Nursing homes are to be pressured into offering pentobarbital along with their tea and coffee. The language of the media is both biased and misleading. We expect objectivity from our journalists, not partisanship. Stories of loved ones being shipped out to meet their death in unfamiliar surrounding is hardly a reporter asking the tough questions. The language is deliberate, and it is designed to make you believe the nursing home is in the wrong. The language doesn't hold up under scrutiny because it doesn't need to. It's not meant to inform you, it is meant to manipulate you. To take a family at their most vulnerable and use that grief to push an agenda. That is exploitation dressed up as compassion. The response from the advocates and the government, it is just pressure to remove all restrictions. Governments made 1,000 promises about safety. Now those promises are the problem. This is the pattern every time. In Western Australia in 2019, guarantees were made. In Victoria, the so-called gag clause, one of those protections, is already being removed, completely gone by April 2027. The law passes with reassurance, but it is eroded with manipulations. What was once a last resort is now demanded as a norm, and no one must be allowed to object. A new story out of the US Supreme Court has been a blow for pro-life organizations. The US Supreme Court, in an order signed by Justice Samuel Alito, has temporarily blocked a lower court ruling that would have imposed stricter limits on access to the abortion pill misoprostol, used as a drug for an at-home abortion. The decision allows, for now, the continued distribution of the drug through telehealth, mail delivery, and pharmacies, without requiring an in-person doctor's visit. The ruling represents a short-time victory for abortion right advocates, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who praised the decision but emphasized that the legal battle is far from over. However, pro-life advocates argue this issue raised serious ethical and medical concerns. Kristen Hawkins, president of Students for Life, criticized the court's move, warning that it enables what she described as the unchecked distribution of powerful abortion drugs without sufficient oversight. Medication abortions now account for a majority of abortions in the United States, typically involving a combination of misoprostol and misoprostol. Critics in the pro-life movement contend that expanded access, particularly by mail, reduces safeguards for women's health while ending the lives of an unborn child. The legal challenge originated in Louisiana, where officials argue that widespread access to abortion pills undermines state laws designed to protect unborn life following the Supreme Court decision of Roe v. Wade. Supporters of tighter regulations also point to emerging studies raising concerns about potential health risks associated with the abortion drugs, calling for more rigorous review by the Food and Drug Administration. For now, the Supreme Court administration stay in effect as it considers the broader case. A final decision could have sweeping implications, not only for abortion access nationwide, but for how states balance medical regulation within the protection of life. We will be following this story in support of all of our friends in the pro-life cause in the US. You have our support.